It was an untitled show for the longest time, or maybe Aryan knew about the title obviously, but he didn't tell any one of us. So hilarious, so hilarious. And I remember when the trailer came out, my mother has rewinded those scenes like a couple of times, and she's laughed with the same intensity each time it played Ghante Ka Badshah. Like, it's just so funny. I remember telling her, listen, every other actor in the show has some of the other cameo with, you know, an SRK or someone else. I'm the only one who does not. Yes. And we've danced, and we've all danced to all of SRK's songs. And that was again quite a moment, because here you've seen him, you know, perform on screen, and now you're with him. Who would have thought now, even while performing that scene, neither of us, neither Lakshya nor I knew this would turn into that.
Wow.
Yeah. But I really think that's the biggest compliment, because actually people are thinking that, oh, you know, Sahher is also a nepo kid. If only I was one.
What's happening with season 2? We are hearing that the team is already writing it. Did you get a whiff of it?
No, I have no idea if season 2 is happening or not, but I would love for it to happen. Yeah.
Of course. If you watch the Bads of Bollywood, you know Karishma Talwar, Sahher Bambba. Sir, how are you feeling? It's been more than 10 days the show dropped. How's life post the Bads of Bollywood?
It's been great, touch wood. In fact, it's so funny, I've not been sleeping at all, and I think 2 days back is finally when I caught up on like some 8 hours of sleep, because in between that, any time of the night I would wake up, first thing I would just check my phone and see the calls, messages and the mentions. It's been good.
And of course social media has been going crazy on the memes.
Yes.
So tell me, which has been the funniest meme that you actually watched?
The funniest meme is the one when people have found out what happens in the climax, and they put this one audio and you know, snippets of Asman and Karishma's. Those are really funny. The ones who know, they know which reel I'm talking about.
But also tell me, there's so much love that's coming your way. Any compliment that you read, or somebody just called and told you something that still just kind of stays with you?
You know, a lot of people are actually thinking that I am actually a nepo kid. So for me, that's the biggest compliment, because I mean, clearly maybe I've done a convincing job that, you know, people are thinking, oh, she's a nepo kid. Yeah.
And because we were talking about the memes, I'm telling you, giving you a few examples of the memes that we saw, and we want you to react to that. Of course, the first is the Kajol SRK moment in your green dress that people are comparing it. Was that a well thought plan, or it just happened?
It just happened, because I remember during that scene, I had tried on a lot of options, and I was in my van with my stylist and trying on options and sending the pictures to Aryan. Do I wear this? Do I wear that? Then he said, should we do shorts? Should we do something like a t-shirt and shorts? So we did a lot of trials, and then towards the end, Aryan's like, no, I think let's just do this green outfit. So it was never really planned. It just happened.
Wow, that's quite a revelation. Also, there's this sweet moment where you and Bobby Deol are trying to make Aryan smile on the red carpet of the premiere. People have like added songs and made quite a many reels on that. What was happening there?
I remember we were just all so happy and excited for that moment, just, you know, for the entire cast to be together. And I remember Raghav started prompting, Aryan smile, and then Bobby sir took over, and then I was leaning in to see whether he's smiling actually or not. So yeah, that was that moment.
But does he really smile?
He does smile all the time, in fact.
Okay. Of course, the climax scene has become quite a meme. So what do you have to say about that?
My reaction when I first heard the climax was pretty similar to what the audiences are reacting, because they're all like shocked and surprised and taken aback, but loving it also at the same time and finding it really hilarious. So that was exactly my response.
We got to know that the cast actually got to know about it quite late.
Yes, in fact on the day of the shoot we got to know about it. So I remember it was quite a moment.
Of course. But shooting the climax scene, it was such a dramatic, action-packed sequence. How was that? Tell us more about it.
The shooting for the climax was very chaotic, because we weren't, we were sitting in the van, and suddenly, oh, Karishma's needed for a shot, oh, Asman's needed for his shot. So everything was just happening on the go, and too much was happening on the go, too much action and too much tod-phod and all that. But it was a lot of fun shooting for the climax, especially the whole chase bit, running away from the house, and then eventually the climax. The last 2 episodes were a lot of fun to shoot.
Another meme that's going is the moment where she says कि मैं तुम्हारी माँ और बहन हूँ. So people are like, hint मिल गया था.
Yes. Yeah. Who would have thought now, even while performing that scene, neither of us, neither Laksh nor I knew this would turn into that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And of course your scenes with Shomik.
Yes. I love my brother and he's my most favorite character in the show. I just love him. Yeah.
And did you get to keep that silver spoon?
You know, I wanted to keep it, but now I'm actually going to contact Red Chillies to give it to me, because I remember the first time I saw that pendant, it was so cute.
Yeah.
That I told the styling team, I said, listen, this though I have to pack it once this is over and done with. I have to take it back.
Amazing. But are you that actress who kind of takes something from the set just as a memorial?
Not really, but with this one, I was like, I have to. The silver spoon, I need to. Now you've reminded me, I will call them up. Yeah.
And tell me about your equation with Laksh. Of course, it started with love-hate in the show. How did you guys break the ice? Because the chemistry towards the end was absolutely fiery.
Yeah.
So tell me more about your equation with him.
We've actually got along really well from the get-go, from the day one. I remember he in fact got cast before me, and my final round of audition, which Aryan only took, he was in the scene with me and we were both performing. And since then he's been really helpful. He's the kind of an actor who wants to make the scene better. So we've had a blast, including me, Lakshya, Raghav. I had the majority of my scenes with them, and Bobby sir, of course. So it was a breeze to work with everybody on set, in fact, and the chemistry luckily that people are talking about, I think it's also what was there on paper with the kind of lines that were written. So
Yeah, and is Raghav as funny off screen?
Yes, he's very funny. In fact, while we were doing interviews and while somebody would ask me a question and I would start saying my answer, if he would be sitting aage, he would turn peachy and look at me, and I would start laughing because he just does these random things in the middle of interviews.
Right.
And it's really funny.
And what about Bobby Deol? Of course, you must have grown up watching him. So how was that to kind of meet and then call him your father on screen?
He's the most gentle person and the most sweet person I've ever worked with. I remember when Aryan told me that Bobby sir is playing your father, I was very excited. He was also the last person to get cast. Everybody else was cast. And he's also, again, the kind of an actor who would want to help you. That beta, okay, try this, maybe try that. So he's very like that. And towards the end of, while we were promoting the show, he was just a part, like he suddenly became like a part of us, in terms of just having so much fun with us.
Yeah. You said that people are thinking that you are a Nepo baby. So who do you think you are the daughter of Ajay Talwar for real?
Who knows? But I really think that's the biggest compliment, because actually people are thinking that, oh, Sahher is also a Nepo kid. If only I was one.
But tell me, Sahher, like, which is your favorite scene from the show, if you had to pick one?
My confrontation scene with my father, I really quite enjoyed that. Two of them, in fact, with my father, where he just drags me into the library. That whole bit I really enjoyed shooting with him. Also the climax, the whole of the car sequence and the chase, running away from the house was a lot of fun.
And you are also one of the few actresses who got to share screen with Salman Khan.
Yes.
Tell me more about that.
I remember telling Aryan that, listen, every other actor in the show has some or the other cameo with, an SRK or someone else. I'm the only one who does not. So, and things just panned out the way they did, and we were shooting for our birthday party scene, and suddenly we see Salman sir walking in. I was so confused. I said, what is Salman sir doing here? And I thought maybe he'd come to say hi to Aryan, but he was so sweet about it. He sat with all of us and gave that shot, and he's a really warm energy to actually be on set with.
Amazing, amazing. Did he give some tips to you guys, the young lot?
No, in fact, it was really brief. So we did our scene, and then he chilled for a little bit, and then he bounced. But no, but he was really lovely.
Yeah, and Akha Bollywood ek taraf, Imran
Hashmi ek taraf. Absolutely,
You got to work with him too, and that too, full stretch of it. How was that experience? And he's also now become such a social media meme
I'm
favorite.
so happy for him, because I feel really, I strongly believe, like the kind of songs that he's given us, so iconic. And I think Raghav's emotions were also so genuine at the time when that first reaction when he sees Imran sir. But he's also great, like he's such a passionate actor is what I observed with him. Just the way with each take, the way he was delivering his lines, and he was really at it. So I quite enjoyed working with him.
But also, Sahher, I wanted to, I was wondering, did you guys know about the title of the show before you signed it, or was it asterisks when the contract happened?
It was an untitled show for the longest time, or maybe Aryan knew about the title obviously, but he didn't tell any one of us. So we were told, oh, maybe it might be called this, or then on some other days he said, no, it's work in progress. And then finally when he told us this, Even then we could put two and two together till we heard the climax, and that's when we were like, okay, now it makes sense.
Yeah. And did you know that Aryan is going to direct this?
Yes, I remember the first time I got a call from the casting directors, Nandini ma'am and Karan Malli. They did say that it's Aryan's directorial debut, and we're testing a lot of people, so why don't you come and test for it?
Yeah. And also a lot of actors, especially the newer lot, feel a little apprehensive when it comes to OTT shows. They of course want to do films. Sahher, what was your idea when you decided to sign this show? Because of course, before everything all panned out, your first call maybe, like how did that work out for you?
My first call with Aryan?
First call with the Red Chillies or the casting team when this came up?
I remember when it first came, the casting people told me that Aryan is making a show. I was very like, okay, I'll test for it, but it's so good to be true that half of Bombay will be auditioning for it. Mera chance kaise, you know? I was going from that mindset, but then obviously there were a lot of rounds of auditions, and I have given my 200% in that, and they were really grueling and exhausting rounds of auditions because there were two big scenes and they wanted us to perform in different ways and lots of takes, and then the final round was with Aryan himself, where he wanted to meet the person and just see if she's receiving the directions well and all of that, and I remember the day when Aryan called me, that I remember it so clearly. It's like one of the highlights of my life because I was over the moon and I just felt like an answered prayer because these auditions were happening for months altogether. So yeah, that was quite a moment.
Yeah, and there's already a buzz on social media that it was ghost directed. Do you want to clarify to our audience?
Not at all. Aryan single-handedly has done this entire show, and he's directed this entire show single-handedly, and which is why even I, you know, as an audience, when I'm now watched the show, I'm like, how has he done it all by himself? He had such great knowledge and in-depth knowledge, you know, about every department, each and every department. So yeah, I think it's a rumor, and yeah, that's all I can say.
Yeah. And tell me, of course, Sahher, you've been, I mean, everyone's talking about how it was meeting Shah Rukh Khan for sure. But I also want to ask you, how was it meeting Gauri Khan? She's the producer of the show. So tell me about that.
She's so lovely. She has such, I mean, she's like she's got obviously these really motherly instincts towards everybody who was a part of the show. I remember meeting her for the first time at Red Chilli's office again, and you know, she so sweetly gave me a sweet tight hug. And even after that, a couple of times when we've gone to her house, she's very nicely, warmly welcomed us, fed us food, and she's you know, like any other mother is, and those emotions actually come out for all of us.
And Shah Rukh, tell me a little more about him.
He is, oh my god, he's even more amazing in real life. That's all I can say. Like he's such an amazing person. He makes you feel special. And I remember that day from the preview launch when I had to share the stage with him and I had to dance with him. It's like I couldn't believe that that was happening to me. I've come back home and I've like shed a couple of happy tears because. And I always say this, you know, that they say never meet your heroes, but thank God I met my hero because he's just even more amazing in real life.
And did you manage to go for a Mannat party, which is like...
Yes, and we've danced and we've all danced to all of SRK's songs. And that was again quite a moment because here you've seen him, you know, perform on screen, and now you're with him off screen and just like dancing to his songs, and all of us doing his hook steps and Chammak Chalo and all these songs.
And what was your take on the Ghante Ka Badshah?
I have found it so hilarious, And I remember when the trailer came out, my mother has rewinded those scenes like a couple of times, and she's laughed with the same intensity each time it played Ghante Ka Badshah. Like, it's just so funny.
Yeah, sweet that you mentioned your parents, because I wanted to ask you, it's unreal for a parent sitting in Shimla. I mean, of course, you are here struggling. It's a everyday hustle.
Absolutely.
But tell me about your parents' reaction when they saw you doing this.
They've been really happy, very proud, and I have to say that whatever today sitting here with you, this victory of mine is not just mine, it's theirs. You know, endless support, endless blessings of theirs, and they've really, especially my mom, like she would pray day in day out, especially during when the auditions were happening for this project, because she really wanted me to be a part of this project. So it's as much their victory as much it's mine.
But when was it said that you thought or you decided that this is something that I want to do for my career as a career?
In fact, always, ever since I was a child, ever since I was introduced to the world of films, this is all that I ever wanted, this is all that I ever dreamt of. And it, you know, as kids, people keep thinking that kids keep changing from one profession to the other every year. For me, this was it. I had such clarity of thought, and I knew this is what I wanted to do. And there was in fact no plan B, very strangely. And now that I think about it in retrospect, I feel like what a, I mean, gutsy decision also to not have a plan B. But it's scary also at the same time. But I'm just very glad and very fortunate that it panned out the way I had hoped for.
Yeah, of course it panned out right now. But tell me, when you first moved to Mumbai, what were the struggles you faced?
Struggles were as basic as okay, auditions I have to start, but where are the auditions happening? Are they even legit auditions happening? Who do I meet? Who do I contact? Who do I speak my heart out with? Didn't know anybody in the city, let alone knowing anybody in the fraternity. Just navigating my way, that how do I go from point A to point B, because also I come from a very sheltered life, and I've had a very sheltered childhood because I've studied in a boarding school and, you know, Shimla mein and Kasauli and all that. So I mean, my boarding school was in Kasauli, so I've led a very cocooned life. So for me to firstly get that exposure of city and city people, and that to a city like Mumbai, which is always running, so that was too many factors to actually take in. And then of course when the audition started, then struggles, I wouldn't call it struggles, but just like your everyday rejections sort of become so normal. You know, you go with so much heart and so much prep and audition, and that, I mean, is a story of every actors, I would say, every aspiring actor, and that's something you have to make peace with, because you kind of latch on to that hope that, okay, now I've cracked it and my audition went off really well, so I'll get the part. But more often than not, you don't. So now I actually reached a place that if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Right.
But also someone who stayed so away from the city, so away from the industry, there's a lot of perception that you build in your mind. I mean, what was your thought when you entered, and what were the myths that you kind of, it just broke when you started working in the industry?
Firstly, the myth is that a lot of people think it's the big bad world of the movies, including my parents. They thought that she wants to become an actor, but we don't know anybody there. It's, I mean, like any other industry, it has its good people, bad people, but luckily I've met more good people than bad people. And second, so I mean, the first myth is that not everybody is bad out here. There are some really good people also, and I've made some amazing friends also here. Second myth would be that from you know, from a lot of people think that it's a very glamorous industry. You just have to like do your hair, makeup and chill and go on set, give one shot and come back home. It's really not that. It's a fight and hustle, like you said, every single day, and it's a lot of work, and which is not at all glamorous at all. So that's another myth that I would like to.
Also, sir, what happens when you start walking the stairs of success? There's a lot of people who around you who change. I mean, does it get difficult for you, especially because you're not from city, to kind of trust who are your real friends and who are here just because you are popular right now? Does that get difficult?
I luckily have a very strong sense of, I can gauge these things if somebody is trying to be overtly sweet. So I can gauge these things, but having said that, I anyway don't get swayed with my own success or failure. So I'm pretty neutral in these kind of situations, so which is why I have a clearer perspective when it comes to gauging these sort of things.
Amazing, amazing. And now that when you've achieved so much, I mean, the next step should be a bigger one. Of course, everyone wants that. Has that become difficult to kind of figure out what's next for you?
It kind of has, but I also, in fact, just half an hour before this interview, I was speaking to my team and I was like, listen, we should just like do anything and everything which feels right from the heart, and let's not calculate too much and, you know, be like aisa karte waisa karte. Whatever we feel, if you're liking a script, if you're liking a story, let's just go ahead and do it.
Amazing. And social media buzz, tell me about it, because a lot of followers, it rises, there's a lot more engagement. Are you engaging with your fans now?
In fact, a lot more. I've started to enjoy social media a lot more now because there's a lot of give and take. People are also reacting to the stuff that I'm putting out, and they're DMing and they're mentioning, so all of that is happening.
Yeah. And back to the show, I mean, tell me one thing about Karishma Talwar that you've taken back home, like in terms of personality or just her belief.
I think the understanding about the industry people, that was the biggest learning, because I feel everybody thinks they get it easy. And Nepo kid hai to chalo, kaam mil jata hai. But kaam mil jata hai, that's one thing, but also to really make a mark of your own, that's also you know, it's a struggle in itself, like how she says in the round table. So I feel that understanding has really changed about the industry.
So an outsider has broken the myth about nepotism.
Yes.
The round table, of course, has also become popular, and people are already connecting it to some other round table. So what do you have to say? Was that a thought in your mind when you were doing this?
Not at all. In fact, Aryan, whether it was a round table scene or any other scene, or even with regards to my character who's a nepo kid, he never really gave us any reference at all. He wanted to keep everything fresh. And even my character, he said, okay, what do you think of Karishma and how do we make her different? So he didn't want me to ape anybody, and that's also not how I would want to perform Karishma. So yeah, everything was, he never gave us any reference point for anything.
But a lot of people are figuring out how Aryan could make fun of Bollywood so much. What was the discussion like when you were maybe reading the script together?
I was laughing, and as it is, Aryan is a very funny person. So even off set, he would just say something and I would just be cracking up for the next 10 minutes thinking about it. And I remember the first table read is with the entire cast is when we first read the script together. And each character was so funny, and we were like, oh, he's written this also, oh, that also, like, spare someone, you know, like, it's just so funny.
I was like, he's thinking, okay, you believe this happens, he's just done it into 10.
Yes, absolutely,
What's happening with season 2? We are hearing that the team is already writing it. Did you get a whiff of it?
No, I had no idea if season 2 is happening or not, but I would love for it to happen.
Of course. Sir, we have a segment for you. We've told ChatGPT and AI to ask some questions to Sahher. So there are a few of them. Okay, when you look back at your career, what's one lesson the industry taught you that no script or acting workshop could?
That you only and only have to focus on your work. And a lot of people, when I was starting out, used to tell me that you need to be seen at the right places and all of that, and events and parties. It never really materializes, at least for me, it never really translates into work. So just focus on work and the craft of it.
If AI ran a scan of Bollywood right now, whose name would they find in your dream collab folder?
You mean a director?
A director or actors?
I would say Ranbir Kapoor. I really would want to work with him. Yeah.
Is there a director also? Dream collab?
Those to bhar ke I have. Zoe Akhtar.
Okay, amazing. What's one stereotype about Bollywood actresses you wish AI could delete from the system permanently?
Stereotype that actresses don't get along. You know, they really do, honestly. Yeah.
If you had to expose one glitch in the industry, somebody nobody admits but everyone knows, what would it be?
Nobody admits that we all call paps.
If AI made a clone of you, what would you want her to do? Act in double shifts or attend those long boring parties?
Act in double shifts, yeah.
What do you think AI still can't understand about the journey of an actor in Mumbai?
That it's a mental fight every single day.
If AI could predict box office successes with 100% accuracy, would you want that, or would that kill that magic?
It would kill the magic.
Bollywood is being redefined every Friday. Do you think AI could ever become a real threat to actors, or is the human element irreplaceable?
It is 100% irreplaceable. Yeah.